What's going on, guys? Angry Manduke here again, and before I get into what I'm angry about, which is actually kind of a PSA, I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. I want to apologize for not posting recently, but this Walmart gig that I am doing it takes up most of my time, and then I get days off, Sundays and Mondays, and I end up spending them with friends and family because I can. And Walmart was nice enough to give me today off and route me home so that I could spend it with my family, which is awesome. But I got in late, and I'm filming this the night before. I'm gonna edit it and then upload it, and you'll see it when you see it. But it'll be tomorrow by the time that happens, because it's almost tomorrow now. Anyway, without further ado, what am I angry about? Well, there's a whole mess of things. So today's Angry Manduke is a series of PSAs about how you should act on the highway. Now, there's the obvious things of you should stay between the lines, use your turn signals, which not many people do, but you should do that. You should not be afraid of the cement barriers that are not impeding onto the lane that you're in. You're in a lane. That lane is the same anyway. Yes, I know the cement barrier is bigger than your car and it makes you paranoid, but if it wasn't a cement barrier, it would be another car, and you would act differently than you would with that cement barrier that couldn't randomly swerve into your lane because it doesn't impede on your lane. So none of this splitting lanes because you're afraid of the cement barriers on both sides. That's just retarded. Then, I want to give you some proper etiquette that involves on and off ramps. Did you know the on ramps are designed so that you can accelerate to highway speed, or in the case of me, when I'm fully loaded, close to it. Well, maybe not close to it, but if I can't, that's another PSA, is if you're below 40 mile an hour and you're on the lanes in the highway, not in a climbing lane. Well, if you're in a climbing lane, it's a highway lane, you should use them, but not in an acceleration lane. You should have your hazards on, or what you would call four ways, but they're not four ways in my case, because there's 8 of them on my truck and another 8 of them on my trailer. No, I think there's 12 of them on my trailer. Anyway, you should have your hazard lights on if you're below 40 mile an hour, or if you're like in a state where the speed limit is 80 miles an hour, you should then, maybe at 50, maybe at 60, because you're a hazard at that point. Most people don't do that. They just stop. And a lot of people probably don't even know where their hazard light switch is, which is ridiculous. But the on-ramps are designed for you to get up to highway speed so that you can merge at highway speed, not so that you can get on the highway and then accelerate, because that makes you a hazard. Then, off-ramps, and I can say this from experience, you don't need to slow down before you get onto the off-ramp, because the off-ramp is long enough for a fully loaded tractor trailer to slow down to a stop before the intersection that is at the end of the off-ramp. In almost every case. And if I can do it in a tractor trailer in almost every case, then you in a car can always do it. Do not accelerate until you are on the off-ramp, or at least in the lane that is exit only. Otherwise, stay at highway speed, because what you're really doing is fucking me over, because you slow down, my truck slows down, and it takes me 5 minutes to get back up to speed because you decided that you needed to do 30 before you even got to the off-ramp. You're fucking retarded. And lastly, the last thing that I really want to bring to your attention is turn your fucking high beams off. And I mean that like high beams are only made to be used when there's nobody else on the road. High beams are not for the fucking highway. I don't need you to flash your high beams to let me know that you're beside me or passing me. I know you're there. Blinding me is not going to help you. Oncoming traffic should never see your high beams because you don't want to blind the semi-trailer that is heading in your direction. You don't want to blind the semi-truck that is heading in your direction. You don't want to blind the car that is heading in your direction. You're doing 50 miles an hour, it's a 100-mile-an-hour collision. It's not going to feel good even if it's a smart car. But if it's a semi-truck and you got your high beams on and he hits you because, say, your car scared an animal that's in the woods, out of the woods, into the road, you swerve and he's blind because your high beams are in his face, so he's intentionally not looking at you, he's looking at the fog line, which is the white line that divides travel lanes from the shoulder. He doesn't see that you swerved to avoid the deer that ran out of the woods, and then he hits you head on. You're dead. Not saying that's going to happen, but it does happen. And if you get hit head on by a tractor trailer, unless he's barely moving, you're dead. So anyway, guys, I do want to tell you to have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to see my other angry videos, you can check that out. Or if you want to see my drone flight videos, you can check that out. And I don't know when the hell I'm ever going to put those tags up so those screens pop up like they're supposed to. But maybe sometime over Christmas break, I'll do all the episodes that I missed. But thanks for watching. I wouldn't do this without you. I'll see all my friends in my next video.